Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Brittany Lewis. Welcome to this week's live stream. I am a professional artist, a graphic designer, and tarot enthusiast, and I'm in the camera real tough, so let me sit back a little bit. Sundays is the day that I spend a little bit of time working on my dream project, the Cosmic Gateways Tarot. And before we get into any of that, I really would like for you guys to do me a huge favor. If you find something valuable in this stream, if you enjoy watching me live, if you enjoy the project, the Cosmic Gateways Tarot, be sure to hit the thumbs up. That helps me out a whole lot. I have quite a few things that I would like to share with you guys because we've had some major updates, a few announcements, and stuff that I'm really proud of. So before we get into it, I want to show you guys that right now on my website, everything is 40% off. That's right. I am no exception to doing a good Black Friday sale. We're just doing it a couple weeks early. So if you would like to support this project, specifically the Cosmic Gateways Tarot, right now is the best time to do that, especially if you've been eyeballing certain prints and items in the shop that maybe you weren't, sure about getting, or maybe you just couldn't get at the time. Right now is the perfect time to do that. And if you go to my website, you will be greeted by this lovely pink banner, which will also pop up on your phone. So one of the quickest and easiest ways to view the shop is just to click the link at the top, or you can scroll to the bottom and click a category. And we've added a category. So I'm really, really excited about that as well. So if you click the Shop Now button, you will also be greeted with all of the categories of items that I carry in the shop. So what we've added is the poster prints. So poster prints are the 11 by 17s that I usually offer only in in-person events, but I've added them back to the shop. So you'll have an opportunity to pick those up as well. And that'll be some of the tarot work, some fan art, some original things like that. And so what that looks like is something like this. So this is an 11 by 17 inch print. That's what they look like. But when you receive yours, you will get it in a package similar to this. So it'll be bagged and tagged and cardboard and all of that, so that you'll have something very nice to put on your wall. I also have a video on this channel that I kind of show you a quick and easy way that you can frame those. So there's one to make sure that everything is very accessible to everyone. So if you're not able to get like the full canvas print, I also now offer the 11 by 17s. I also have all of my journals on sale, which I'm really excited about. Those are probably my favorite things that I sell, as well as some of the books. So my favorite specifically is the Hermit Journal. And this is what that looks like. It won't have the sticker here. This is my display journal that anytime I go on in-person events, I want people to be able to feel it because it has a very nice feel to it. But this is a 60-page journal. All of these are on sale. Full price, they're like $8.99, but they're 40% off right now. So if that's something that you like, for sure, make sure you grab a copy because these are almost gone. These are almost gone. And then I also have the Witchy Things journals. In those, I have two varieties of. And I like these journals because every so often there is an affirmation. So as you're writing, for instance, here's one. As you're writing, you'll have affirmations that'll come up. And the dark one specifically has them written in the back. All right. All right. So again, if you're interested in supporting this channel, one of the quickest and easiest and free ways to do that is to hit the like button. And then if you want to purchase something from my shop right now, we're running this very limited time. It'll go until December 3rd. So until December 3rd, we'll have 40% off everything in the shop, and everything is pretty much in stock. So if you order it something today, it'll be in the mail tomorrow or Tuesday. So without further ado, we're back on the Two of Wands. Oh, before I forget, one more announcement. Next Friday, I will be live with Lee and Sam here on this channel, where we will talk about all things creativity. We'll probably go into a little bit of instruction in the digital art realm. So if you are interested in things like that, sort of interested in, hey Lee, so Lee's here. So myself, Lee, and Sam will be live this coming up Friday, the 22nd at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. And we'll be here and we'll be chit-chatting. I think the last time that we did this was maybe a couple months ago, and it was so much fun. So I hope to see you guys here as well for that. All right. Okay, just a few things. And I'll probably run this back a couple times because I know people come in and out of these streams. So I want to make sure that you guys have all the information that you need to move forward. So Two of Wands, we're back on it. Now, this week I did do a little bit more. Actually, not this week. Today, I worked on this a little bit more. My weeks are usually pretty jam-packed, full of stuff to do. But again, Sundays is the day that I set aside time to work on this, right? And for those who may be unfamiliar, the Cosmic Gateways Tarot is a project that I started in 2019, and we go through this every stream. But if you're new here, I want to fill you in, right? So the Cosmic Gateways Tarot is a deck I started 2019 where I created my first two cards, the High Priestess and Justice, and later got the name right after I finished the Justice card. These are some of the cards. I think these are all of the cards. I have about 33 completed so far, so I have over 40 to do. I have quite a few to do, right? But it'll be a 78 card deck, just a standard sort of number of tarot cards. 78 card deck. It'll come with a guidebook and a companion book. And live streams are the best way to find out more information about this particular project. That and also joining the waitlist, because from time to time I do send out emails exclusive information about this particular project. So when it goes to launch, those people will be the very first ones to know what will be included in the campaign, how much things will cost, and all of the odds and ends and things like that that go along with creating a tarot deck project. All right. So we're working in Clip Studio Paint as always. This is Clip Studio Paint version 1. It is just the one that I have. I didn't feel a need to upgrade. There are 3 versions of Clip Studio Paint. I use version 1. It works pretty well. It was the program that I switched to after Photoshop. I did try out a couple. I tried out Corel Painter. I like the texture in Corel Painter, but I just ended up sticking with Clip Studio Paint. So we're back on this 2 of 1. Now we've been at this for it's got to be like number 6, the 6th episode of this particular project. And it looks like I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty where my pen is showing up on the second screen. So walk with me while I try to fix this. So the 2 of Wands is all about making sure that you're making plans, right? So it's about seeing things to the future and or seeing things in the future, planning for your future and making sure that everything's okay. For some reason, let's see what's going on. We want to do this as my working area. Yes. All right. Let's see if my pen works now, because that would be pretty tough to. There we go. All right, we're working. All right, excuse that technical difficulty, but life does happen. So yeah, 2 of Wands is all about making plans. So I have this sort of scene set up that is an offshoot of my Hierophant. I say this every week. And the way that I made that consistency possible was just to use some of the same color palettes and things like that from that original card. Now I have gone on and completed the hands in my main central figure, right? There are 2 figures. My central figure, I did complete her hands earlier today. And I have been working on the shirt for my male figure. Because he's sort of in the background and because this is going to be small, it doesn't have to be extremely detailed. I do want it to read, and I am thinking sort of future oriented. So just in case I want to put it on a journal like the Hermit journal, or if I wanted to do like a canvas print, like the Hermit canvas print behind me, I wanted to be able to read as a clear and sort of defined image, but I don't have to like put texture in the t-shirt. I don't think that's necessary for me to do. So we're just going to keep working on this. Now I am using my original sort of source image as a blueprint for where the folds and the wrinkles in his shirt are. I did also find another reference, and this is from Getty Images. So I did not license this image. I just needed to see how the folds in this man's shirt look. So I decided to use this as well, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But the main thing is that I want it to look like he's actually leaning against the table, right? So when I went searching for a reference, that's literally what I typed in, like man leaning against the table. Found the guy that was close enough to what I was looking for. It's not exact. I just need to see where the folds and the wrinkles and things should be placed or could be placed in his shirt, and then go from there. I don't want to copy this exactly. I don't want to use this image in any other way other than to, decide where the light and the shadows hit his shirt. Right. So the goal for today's live stream is to sort of wrap up his shirt. I'll probably go ahead and do the Central Ladies, the purple shirt, and I'll probably go ahead and start on her face. When I did the hands today, it didn't take me no more than maybe 10 or 15 minutes, but I wasn't doing it live. So me working by myself does work a little bit faster. But we're here, right? So I hope you guys are having a great week. I had a pretty good week. I do feel a whole lot better. I know these last couple weeks, my I've been just struggling, right? Struggling with my health and everything like that. But I do feel a whole lot. I feel a whole heck of a lot better. Had a few smiles today, so I appreciate that. And yeah, having a pretty good day today. and I hope you guys are too. So what I am doing here, I've already sort of laid in a few places for his shadow, and I'm going to for the shadows in his shirt, and I'm just going to add some highlights, and that'll sort of make those shadows feel a whole lot deeper. Um, than just leaving it flat. And just in case you're new here, because we've had a couple more people pop in, next Friday, Lee, Sam, and I will be here on YouTube talking all things creativity. And I am so excited, Lee. I'm so excited to have you guys. There's nothing really like having other creative people to talk to and kind of shoot the breeze with and, create, right? So I love being able to do that. So last week we did talk a little bit about being able to do that within the Graphic Artists Guild, another community that I am a part of, that I so enjoy, so enjoy, is the African American graphic designers, and that is, I think they're based in Austin, but it's all Black folks, and we're all designers, and so it's really neat because you get a chance to relate slightly differently, right? Because we all have sort of unique challenges in the workforce. And it's real interesting to be able to, speak to other people who have had similar experiences and have overcome similar things. And yeah, looks like my light went out. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Well, if we get dark, I'm still here. So my little lamp went out. But yeah, I enjoy that group so much. They do something called Logo Olympics, which I have been so afraid to do because I feel like there's so much pressure. Like I could do a logo pretty quickly, usually after I've talked to my potential client and we've sort of had our conversation, our consultation, and things like that. And usually during that time, I'm already conceptualizing ideas. So it comes really quickly, right? But in this particular case, I think they give you a brief and then you're like on the spot to create right then. And that is so much pressure. It truly is. It's so much pressure. It makes me nervous. So one of these days, I'll do Logo Olympics whenever I muster up the courage to do so. But I do thoroughly enjoy African. It's AAGD. So if you guys are looking for Instagram, I think they even have a Facebook group. It's a free group, Facebook group to join. AAGD.co, I believe, is the website. Is where I would highly recommend checking out if you're a Black creative. I really enjoy them. All right. So I think this is good. I don't really have to do a whole lot to his shirt. I just needed to read as a shirt. And I need to soften up this particular part. This highlight here. All right. So when you're creating work, and one of the things that I've tried to intentionally do these last few years is to tell a story in the work that I create, right? So I mentioned a lot that the Cosmic Gateways Tarot is pretty much a self-portrait. I think that it is a collection of experiences. Sometimes it's, I'm just sort of creating. Awesomely, you're so welcome. She says, thank you for sharing that resource. Going to check them out. Absolutely. They're so awesome. We had a in-person event in Nashville back in March. I remember because I watch wrestling, so the day before the event, we were at WWE SmackDown. I believe it was SmackDown. Anyhow, we had an in-person event in Nashville, and we were able to collaborate. The Guild and AAGD were able to collaborate on that event, so we were able to meet all kinds of people within the area. It's really nice. And Lee, since you are in the Carolinas, and we are, looking for opportunities to have in-person events, I would definitely suggest and sort of look into doing some of that there with you, so you guys can have an opportunity to participate in those as well, because you don't have to be a graphic designer. I think that's sort of the the gist, especially with the Graphic Artists Guild. They started as a union, or not union, but sort of like a just started as a guild for specifically graphic designers. But there are textile artists there are web designers within the guild, there are illustrators. I'm an illustrator. I just so happen to also be a graphic designer. But the primary thing that I do or have been doing here lately is illustration. So you don't necessarily have to be of a particular field to participate in those. Now there are very specific organizations for different things, right? So there are organizations specifically for illustrators, there are organizations specifically for, just photographers and so on and so forth. But in this case, you don't necessarily have to be specifically a graphic designer to join the guild or AAGD. I just think that there is really nice. It's really nice to have people that you can sort of relate to on a very different level. Again, that sort of understand what it is to be Black in the workforce, right? What it is to be Black as a designer and working for clients, and sort of some of the very unique hurdles that we experience in the creative field. So I enjoy them. I do. They're good people and they're good by me. So, yeah, absolutely. I definitely don't mind sharing those resources because it took me a minute to find them. It did. I was lucky because the founder of AAGD actually contacted me through the guild. He was able to hook me up with the president of the guild, and that's sort of how I got as involved as I have. So I'm forever thankful for that. Forever thankful. And I feel like that's how it should be, right? You see people that you want to support, no matter who or where they're from and all of that, support them, right? It doesn't really hurt to be nice and kind and to help the next person out. So for that, I'm forever, forever thankful for that. So yeah, AAGD. Really, really enjoy them. And I had an interview with Gabby from AAGD back in July. So it was for my birth month or during my birth month, I should say. And so they did a spotlight on me, which I was really, really grateful for. I always have a good time. I think as I get older, it's easier for me to just open up about certain things, especially in the business, because I've been through quite a bit as an entrepreneur, as a creative entrepreneur, and also just as a designer and illustrator. And so we deal with a lot. There are a lot of things that we deal with. Primarily with me, the hardest part of my job is the administrative work, right? So that's the marketing, that's the consultations, that's the sort of back and forth that you have to do with your clients and communicating and, learning all of those things. And that's probably the hardest thing, creating and illustrating and, doing graphic design stuff. That's easy work. That's super easy. I can do it in my sleep, right? But when it comes to actually handling the business of being an entrepreneur, that's sort of where it gets a little tedious. Not gonna lie, it does get a little bit tedious. But I have learned quite a bit. Now, I joined the guild, I think, in 2022. It was at the end of 2022, and I was coming out of an artist consultancy group. And I still don't remember. I meant to look this up, but I remember the lady who ran its name was Electra. I don't remember what the group is called. I have no idea. It's been a minute. But from there, I think that kind of jump started sort of the way I looked at my business. So at the time, I would consider myself a freelancer, right? But once I sort of switched the mentality from freelancer to entrepreneur, then I was able to treat the business like a business. I wasn't as personally connected to it. So as a freelancer, everything is about me, right? Brittany's very involved in freelancing. But when it comes to switching the identity from freelancer to entrepreneur, then the conversation is different because I'm not necessarily doing what's best for my personal ego, my personal things. Is what's best for my business. So I sort of had to turn that, light bulb or that light switch on and off, right? And it helped me a whole lot because when I make decisions, it's not me making decisions for Brittany, right? It's me making decisions for B. Lewis Arts. It's making sure that I have certain financial, things lined up and contracts are in order and all of those things. And so when I'm presenting a contract to someone, it's not personal because Brittany ain't doing it. B. Lewis Arts is doing it, right? And so that's sort of how I think joining those organizations and sort of getting that information, because again, you don't know what you don't know. Sort of having those experiences, I do believe, help set things in a better trajectory for myself, right? Because again, some of that stuff I just didn't know. Like I knew to do contracts because I had been not paid one too many times. So I was like, now we're gonna put everything in writing. I knew to do deposits for the same reason. I would have projects, especially for people that which is a rule of mine. Like I try not to take projects from people that I know. Because anytime you mix friends and business, it can get a little bit slippery, right? Try not to. But I have developed friendships and very good working relationships with people that I worked for. But I have people I had done work for, people I had gone to school with, and they would like disappear. And it's like, y'all forget, I know your folks, I know your parents, right? So, but those lessons sort of catapulted me to make different business decisions. So there's always a deposit. There's always a contract being signed. And so I was able to sort of switch a few things off and adjust a few things. Another great example, I had gotten to a point where just from people not paying you, right? I gotten to a point where you would make a change on something and then you'd have like unlimited revisions, which I don't know what I was ever thinking to do that. So you'd have unlimited revisions on a project. But if you give people an inch, they will take a mile. And so unlimited revisions usually ends up being like nothing ever gets done, right? Hey, Black Zetsu, it's good to see you. Nothing ever really gets done. So having those sort of challenging client experiences, I do believe sort of helped shape a lot of things that make my business good today. Right. So we limit revisions. So when I give you the example of logo packages. So when I'm doing a logo package, I price them based on tiers because everybody's budget is different and everybody's business requires, a different amount of work, right? So it's based on tiers. And each tier has a certain number of revisions allotted, and each tier has a certain number of designs. So at the lower end of that spectrum, you might only get one design, right? That doesn't mean that's the only design that I've done, but that's the one that I decided to present to my clients because after we've talked, this is what I've come up with, right? After that, that client then has an opportunity to say yay or nay, right? And I usually give them the first because the first is always a matter of me interpreting our conversation. And there is always room for error when it comes to interpretations. So I'll give you the first one. If you don't like it, then we'll have a very good, extensive conversation about why you don't like it, right? So sometimes I know that artists will have these sort of situations where they've presented a design and the client doesn't like it, but they don't know where to move forward. You have to consider or you have to have a conversation with your clients to say, okay, you don't like it, cool. What is it that you don't like? Provide for me some examples of things that you do like, right? So what are you naturally drawn to? What are you thinking? Be very specific. And that way when we go into the redesign, I have a clearer path ahead of me, right? Super important. And I'm very, very adamant about communicative clients and being communicative and having these sorts of conversations. It doesn't really make me uncomfortable or anything like that. I know some people are very tied to the work that they create, but if I'm creating something for someone, it's not for me, right? It's for that person. So I want to make sure that I take the time to understand what it is that they do or don't like moving forward. That way, if they're on that lower end of the spectrum where they're only getting one design, then I know exactly where to go because they've provided me all of the information that I can go with. And if they don't, we don't move forward until I have a clear picture because I don't want to have to keep doing revisions. Now, once we've gotten past that first sort of revision, right, that first redesign, if they come back and say, well, hey, I still don't like it, I don't know what to do, I don't, whatever the case is, then there is a charge, right? Because I don't want to do unlimited revisions and I don't want to do a bunch of work. And you shouldn't have to do a bunch of work without being compensated for that work. And money usually makes people very motivated and very intentional about what it is that they say moving forward because it's going to start adding up fairly quickly. And all of those things I sort of learned having very challenging clients. Now I had a conversation with a lady. I would say probably last year sometime. Me and her had a Zoom, and she's really, really I think prominent in her industry. She's also works in publishing, and she was telling me a story about how she had a client that she had taken a huge project, right? Huge contract. And it got to a point where she was hiring an editor to do a certain amount of work. But rather than have the client pay for that work that needed to be done, she paid out of pocket. And then the client ended up ghosting her. And then she was out of pocket for like $3,000. I learned that lesson like a $50 client. You know what I mean? So you have to. I'm happy to have had again those sorts of really tough experiences and those really challenging clients who were very low paying projects because I couldn't imagine being out $3,000 because I didn't invoice the client before we moved forward. And so those are lessons and things that you learn. But also, if you don't know to do that, being in a business community and being around other creative entrepreneurs, just other creatives in general, will sort of help paint different pictures for yourself so that you can prepare moving forward. Same with the pause clause that I don't know if I mentioned it last week when we were talking about contracts, but Same with the pause clause, where if I don't get directions or directives from my client within a certain amount of time, I pause the project, meaning I stop working on it, and then they have so long to give me that directive, or we stop it all together, and they have to pay to restart it. And the reason that we do that is because time is money, right? If I have a client, let's say I have a $15,000 project. If I have a $15,000 project, I'm blocking in time specifically for that $15,000. So I'm not going to take another huge project because I'm working on this one. I might take some smaller ones down the line or whatever the case is, but I'm not going to take the same level of work because I've already blocked in time for that, right? So I've already blocked in time for that, and it comes up where I need some direction from the client that this is where we need to go and this is what needs to happen, and I don't hear from them. You messing up my money, you know, right? Not even from them, just from me not being able to book other similar projects. So all of those things I had to learn, or I learned sort of within the last couple of years, I would say. And again, some of that, you learn and bump your head as you go as an entrepreneur. That's just sort of part of the process. So you just show yourself grace and move on. I think the greatest teacher in business is a bad client, hands down. The greatest teacher is a bad client. Now, I have had some wonderful clients over the years. I've had people who are just dreams to work with. One of the guys that I worked with last year, I did a logo for a food truck that's based in Los Angeles, but he's from Memphis, and so he found me from word of mouth from one of my previous clients, and I worked with him, and it was a dream. Right? It was such an awesome experience. And every time I see him at his food truck and see how well they're doing, how much people are enjoying it, it always makes my heart smile because I do really, really like being able to see my clients thrive. I really, really enjoy that so much because they deserve it and you guys deserve it too. So, if you are in the business or in any kind of business and you need a creative professional, a graphic designer, or an illustrator, especially when it comes to publishing, because that's just sort of the realm that I'm leaning in, and you are interested in having your project worked on, whether that's a book cover, whether that is layouts, whether that is illustrations, or whatever it is that you need, be sure to reach out to me. I am currently booked for a little while, but let's start that conversation. I am very open to it. I would love to hear more about your project, more about your goals, and I would love to see how it is that I can help you reach those goals, right? I want to help you succeed in whatever it is that you're doing. So, yeah, I love all of those organizations have been helpful. Just sort of, again, meeting and speaking with other creatives has been extremely helpful in the last couple of years, and I'm still growing. I've been in business now since 2012, and I'm still growing, right? I don't have all the answers. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff I have not experienced yet, but I do enjoy being able to, continue to learn, right? Have to be open to continuing to learn and continuing to grow as a creative and as a business owner. And even if you're thinking you're not going to own a business and you want to work for a studio or an agency, still learn the business, right? Continue to learn the business. And I did that on the wrong layer. Continue to learn the business so that you never know what might happen later on down the line. You might need to use those business skills, or you may need to lean into your dream projects because life happens, right? All right. So I've been working on his shirt. It looks pretty good. I think I'm going to back away from it for now. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot to his pants down here because it's just a little small block. I don't know. I doubt it though. I think what I'm going to do next is move on to my main character shirt, or the central character, the lady who's giving the directions and doing the planning. I think I'm going to move on to her shirt. And for that, I'm going to use my original reference, which we'll get back to. Now, again, what I was just doing was just adding folds and wrinkles and things like that to the blue shirt, just sort of so that it actually reads as a shirt. It reads as something that is complete. And we'll move on now to our main lady. Earlier today, I did her hands. I probably still work on my main man's hands. I think they need a little TLC. They're not great, but we'll get there at some point. And so we're just going to keep working on our characters. And from there, I'll probably do some work on the bookshelf, maybe the globe, because here's my globe reference. Go back. This is my globe reference. And then again, we're using this particular card, the Hierophant, as soon as it loads back up, as our main color palette reference. Okay. All right. So a lot of the bookshelf in the background and stuff like that will have this sort of look to it. All right, so let me get on to my main reference. So with this guy again, I had to use a different sort of picture to. I kind of used his jacket, but I did use a different picture to color in the blue shirt. But the beauty of this particular reference for the guy who is I substituted for a woman is that his wrinkles and things are already there, so I don't have to look that up. So that works very nicely. Now, again, we do have some people who are coming in and out and joining us. If you are looking to support this channel, there are a couple of ways that you can do that. The first and easiest way is to hit the like button. That helps me out a whole bunch, because what that does is let YouTube know that you enjoy the content and you think that people that enjoy the same stuff that you enjoy will also enjoy this particular live stream. So that helps me out a whole lot. Other ways that you can support this particular project is by going to my website, and everything will be linked down in the description below. So just in case you're watching this on the television screen, I do have a QR code here for you that'll take you straight to my website, straight to the shop specifically, where if you use the code Winter40, that's WINTER 40, all one word, you'll get 40% off your entire purchase, right? So that's everything from canvas prints to poster prints, which we just added to the shop, as well as journals, books, the ebook, the whole shop, right? It does not include shipping because stuff's on sale, so you could do the shipping. Right. Also, next Friday, I will be live with Lee and Sam. And I know, so now you can see me. We're a little bit closer. It's a little more intimate. But you can see myself, Lee and Sam, live here on YouTube next Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central. And we'll talk all about creativity. We'll probably expand on this conversation a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about digital artwork and whatever they'd like to talk about. I'm all game for it. I'm so excited to have them back on. And if you can, and just in case you missed the first time that we had them on a couple of months ago, if you go to my live panel in this YouTube channel, you'll be able to watch the original video that we had. So I'm so excited to have Lee and Sam there. So let's get on back to it. Now we are working again on our two of wands, just in case you're just joining us, right? Two of wands, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and start the work on my main character's shirt. All right, so what I could do, and I think what I'm going to start by doing is selecting the shape that I have here outlined, and what I'll probably do a little bit later is expand the shape like I did in the folds and things like that. And we'll get this QR code off the screen. There we go. And we'll get back to it. So let me save really quickly. So yeah, let me, while that's saving, I'm going to show you guys again the website so that you'll know where to go, right? So if you are visiting my website, if you're looking at it using a mobile device, whether that is a tablet or a phone, it'll probably look something like this, where you have the menu button up in the corner, you'll have your shop, you'll have the search button, and then you have the logo. And if you click on the logo, it'll take you to the home page. But you'll be greeted by this beautiful pink banner that'll say shop now, just in case you're doing this from the home page. If you click on shop now, it'll bring you to the actual shop itself, where we have a banner and also the categories for everything that I sell in my shop. So that is t-shirts, canvas prints, ebooks, and poster prints. Now, poster prints are recently added to the shop because I know that some people may want a smaller, much more affordable print. A lot of these are going to be from the tarot deck, but they're also going to be fan art pieces as well as coven pieces. If you click on that, you'll also be graded with three more categories, right? So I made it pretty simple for you, just in case you don't want to scroll through the whole catalog of prints. So if you're looking for witchy things, if you're looking for fan art, if you're looking for tarot, you can click on either of those categories and it'll take you exactly to, what it is that you're looking for. So if we're going to go to fan art, for example, I have all kinds of things. Calypso, I have Earthly Kid. As soon as it loads, we'll show you. So this is sort of what they look like. They are 11 by 17 inch prints. So if you order, for instance, the Mike Tyson Bless His Heart, I know we all saw that fight. But if you order the Mike Tyson, it'll look something like this. It is an 11 by 17, and it'll come bagged and tagged. It'll have cardboard and all of that behind it. So it comes very sturdy so that you could take it out of the plastic and then frame it wherever you like, right? Or you can keep it in the plastic. I've seen a lot of people purchase prints from me and they'll just keep it in the plastic. It's your world. You do whatever you want to do, right? But it'll come something like this. to your doorstep. And everything that is listed in the shop, unless it says sold out, I do have in stock. So all of that stuff will ship next day, more than likely, right? Unless I'm just super busy, it'll be within 2 days or so, usually next day. All right. So I do have all of those available. I also do have some of the tarot work available. Not all of the prints. So if there is one that you like that you do not see, DM me on Instagram, or you can send me an email and I will print it specifically for you. If there is something that you want, I can send over an invoice and we'll take care of it for you. But I do have quite a few prints from the tarot deck available. Same size, you'll get it the exact same way, where everything will be bagged and tagged and ready to go. And again, you want to use the code WINTER40 to get 40% off. So by itself, it's about $30 and you'll get 40% off of that, plus whatever the cost of shipping is. And because the packages are relatively thin, they don't weigh a whole lot. Shipping's not usually a big, it's like you're not going to be paying $15 for shipping unless you're buying a lot, right? So again, all of that will be linked down in the description below in this particular YouTube video. And I do believe that our picture is done saving. So again, I just want to flip through this real quick for you guys to see. So this is what it'll look like for you if you're looking at it on a tablet, or if you're looking at it on the desktop. You'll have all of the options for prints and canvas prints and things like that you can purchase within my shop. And that does help this particular project. It helps me a whole lot. All right, back at it. So now we have that saved, and we do want to make sure that we save as much as possible, because even though Clip Studio Paint is pretty good about autosave, you don't want it to crash and then you've lost all of your progress. We definitely don't want to have that happen. I've had that happen a time or two in my lifetime. So whenever I can save on my own, I definitely am team save your projects, right? Also, back up your files. That is another thing that I would highly suggest doing. That's not just with artwork, just in general. If you're doing work on a computer, make sure you're backing up your files, because anything can happen. For instance, earlier this year, I was working on a 2011 iMac. That was my computer, and it was going strong. I had that bad boy rigged up so it had like 32 gigs of memory, like it was lightning fast. It was great, right? And all of a sudden, after all of this time, after 12 years of having a computer, it died. And there was absolutely no warning that it was going to die. There was nothing to say, hey, you might need to go ahead and back your stuff up, because we ain't got much lifetime left in us. None of that. It died, took it up to the Apple store, tried to get them to fix it, hoping, wishing, and praying that they would. They were not able to. And that was that. Luckily, though, I had everything bagged up. I'm real happy for that. I had everything bagged up. Most of my tarot stuff I have on the external situation anyway. So, but I was able to save everything. So thank goodness for that. So if you are working with files, especially if you're working on an old machine, like the one that I had, make sure that you back up your files. You don't want to lose anything. I was telling someone, they were asking, like, how long do you keep files for? So like if I'm working for a client, how long do I keep their files for? I have all of my original client files, every last one of them. And that is, give me 1 second, because it's getting real dark. Hold on 1 second. Let me turn on the light. All right. There we go. Now we can see each other a little bit better. But yeah, I have all of my original files. I have all but one of my very first digital paintings. I have the files for my very first logos that I've ever done, which has been real interesting to look at. I have all of those things. I don't really get rid of files, because what I find happens is that I'll get an email from one of my clients. For instance, the guy that I did the food truck for in LA, who needed to get his design files so that he could further, I guess, get menus done, and he did the food truck and all of that. So I keep copies of all of that for my clients. That is a courtesy. That's not something that I feel like I'm obligated to do, because once I've relinquished files, it's really up to them. But that is something that I do for all of my clients, because life happens, and you want to be of service to people. And that is what I think helps sort of the word of mouth, because a lot of my clients are word of mouth. They come from previous people that I've worked with, and we have a good time. I treat my clients very well. because I want them to have a good baseline experience so that if they go to another designer or if they, decide to work with somebody else or whatever the case is, and they have, some good service to compare it to. Right? Not to toot my own horn, but I be doing my thing. So that is just a little tidbit. I keep all of my files, and so one of the things that I was thinking about doing, and I probably do this after I finish this particular card because I don't have the next set of cards done. I think I want to do a reaction video to some of my old YouTube, to some of my old YouTube paintings. Hey PL, it's okay. PL says I'm like, you're all good. I'm happy to have you here. Thank you so much for dropping by. Yes, so I'm thinking about doing a reaction video to some of the old work that I've done for a couple of reasons. One, because I hadn't seen a lot of this stuff in so long. I just think it would be fun, right? The other part of that is that because a lot of it is digital, I'll be able to sort of show you sort of the evolution of my own digital work, right? Because I think one of the first ones that I painted for YouTube was one for Naruto, the anime, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great at all, right? It was fun to do, but when I haven't watched it, but like I went and looked at the thumbnail and I was like, oh man, that's rough. But I did enjoy it, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to show you guys sort of how far I've come as an illustrator over the years. And maybe you guys can learn from some of my techniques, and maybe you guys can learn from some of my mistakes as well. I also have quite a few acrylic paintings on there as well. I was fortunate enough that I have had a couple of people who have really supported my artistic career, like really, really supported. I don't mean just like sharing and stuff, but like have purchased thousands of dollars worth of art for me or had commissioned thousands of dollars worth of art for me. And so some of that is also present. I'm so very thankful to have those sorts of people behind me and people who really believe in what I do. And so I want to show you guys some of that. So I'm thinking about doing it. I don't think that this is going to take me much longer. Like I said, when I worked on the hands earlier today, I will probably finish them up in like 30 minutes. And by hands, I mean these hands here that are central on the page. It didn't really take me a whole lot of time to do, and I think that if I just kind of set aside some real time outside of live, I could probably knock this picture out pretty quickly. So after that, I think that's what we'll do. We'll look at some of these old YouTube videos and see. They bring back really happy memories. I had done a challenge for myself. I don't remember the year, but I remember it being real overwhelming. I challenged myself to do a painting a day for 90 days, right? That was to do a couple of things. That was one, to improve the amount of time that I spent painting so that I wasn't so precious about the brush strokes and making sure things were absolutely perfect, because to do one a day, and I was giving myself like 3 hours or so to do them, I had to work fairly quickly, right? But the problem was that I had involved like everybody in my family to tell me what paintings I should do, and in an effort to try to, not have anybody feel left out. I got so overwhelmed. I did. I was like, oh yeah, no, I can't do this. But I might do something like that later on down the line. Not necessarily a 90-day situation, but sort of maybe a daily painting, or not daily painting, a daily sketching challenge, maybe for a week or so. Especially when I get into studying landscapes and things like that, to be able to learn and show you guys what study is actually like for me, right? So for everybody, it's going to be different. But what I would do in a situation where if I was trying to learn a new skill, specifically when it comes to digital art, what that process looks like, right? So I know with landscapes, and we've talked about this quite a few times, that's probably the area in art, landscapes and abstract art, for whatever reason. My mind doesn't, it has to make sense to me, right? But in terms of landscapes and things like that, because I am working on this tarot deck, and there are going to be quite a few landscapes, especially later on down the line when we get into the pinnacles and painting gardens and things like that, I want to be able to do that with relative ease, right? So in order to be the best that I can at it, I need to study a little bit. So I might show you guys some of that. I've also been considering showing you the planning process of coming up with some of the tarot deck designs. The only issue with that is that it can be a little bit tedious. And so I don't know how entertaining that'll be. I don't know how entertaining this is, but here we are. I enjoy it. So that's just about all that matters, right? I enjoy it. It's probably my favorite time of the week is Sundays. And I'm happy to have you guys here. So whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, today we're just working on this two of wands. And I hope, I swear to God, I hope, I hope I'm able to finish this picture sometime soon. Not that I'm in a hurry to do it, but I'm ready to move on to the next sort of thing, right? And so I thank you guys for your patience. Now, I know I've had people who have been following this project since the absolute beginning of it. And I want to thank you all so much for all of your continued support and all the kind words. I guess because I'm team put kindness out in the world, right? I always really get a lot of kindness back, and I really really appreciate all of that. Now I'm going to look at the other screen here just to kind of see how that's going. It's going all right. I think I can smoothen it out a little bit, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to add some of the shadows in her neck, so that it helps our shirt stand out a bit. We'll sort of move into her face just a little bit, and I'm not going to spend too much time making it perfect, so none of this is going to look perfect. For now, all of this is going to be just really rough, right? And I don't want to be too precious about it. I just want to lay in shadows and light and things like that, so that I can later come back and make it smoother like our male character. All right. So again, I hope you guys had a great week this week, and I hope you have a good week next week. I plan on, I have a commission that I need to finish up, so I do plan on working on that this week, as well as making some more time for this particular card. Because again, I'm ready. I'm ready for the next one. I am ready for the next one. So we'll be getting to that soon. But yeah, I think after this is done, I'll probably show you guys what it looks like. That's if I finish it this week. If not, whatever, we'll get to it when we get to it. But if I do finish it this week, I will show you the finished process, finished product, like we've done the other cards, and then we will move on, right? And we'll look at some of those old YouTube videos, which I'm kind of excited about. I've been like, I don't know, I've been having nostalgia feels. I've been having nostalgia feels pretty tough lately, right? And so going back and looking at some of those old videos and things like that, it's been tempting, but I was like, let me just save it. I'll save it, and then I'll watch that with you guys so you can kind of see some of the progress from over the years. Because I think I started this channel back in 2013, I believe, something like that. It's been a minute. I think it's been about 11 years. And I was super inconsistent with it. Primarily because I would face burnout. So the way that I had it structured for many years is that I would do a new painting every week, right? And so I would challenge myself to do something new. And the B90X, that was the 90-day thing. And yes, it was called B90. It was called B90X. So the 90-day situation that I had set up for myself was to challenge myself to, again, practice, become faster with my work, but also it gave me content because I was creating something new every day. And for a while, it was every day until I scaled it back to once a week, and that became a little bit overwhelming, right? And so it just kind of dropped off to whenever I felt like posting. So we're doing a whole lot better now. The live streams help significantly. And again, this is easy for me because it's a lot easier for me to sit down here, chit chat with you guys, talk for a little while, share the progress, and then I can move on to whatever else I have going on, right? But early on, I had put a lot of pressure on myself, and I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I did it, but here we are. So I am just laying in a little bit of shadow in her ear. Again, I'm not super duper interested in this being perfect, and I'm going to use some of the colors that I use in her hand again to make sure that everything is consistent. So I'm not necessarily fishing around for the right mid-tone or the right color for different things, because I've already figured that out when I did her hands. So that's where we are. And I'll zoom out here so you guys can see the whole picture and what we are working with, what we've done so far. I'm going to darken up the sketch just so you can see what the picture should look like at some point, right? Now we have finished up our male character, and if you can see in his sketch, I'm going to zoom in here real tough so you can see it. His actual head is a lot smaller than what I had originally drawn, and you just have to make adjustments, right? We make adjustments as we go, and we do what is needed. And I don't want to be too attached to my sketches, right? I want to have a good blueprint, but I don't necessarily want to be held to it too tough. All right, so I'm gonna lighten that back up because it's a little bit too dark, and we're gonna keep working on a little bit of light and shadow in our female figure. And I think we're getting about time to wrap it up. These last couple of weeks have been pretty short streams. I will probably continue to work on this once we wrap up our live. And again, if you order something from the shop, and all the links and things like that will be in the description. All of those will go out tomorrow if you order today. The next day if you order the next day, because everything that is in the shop, except for the canvas prints. Now the canvas prints do take a little bit of time because those are made to order. Right. So if you're ordering a canvas print, and again, I don't know if you guys can see the background. Which way? That way. The other way. That way. That is the canvas print for the hermit. Those are very much made to order. So anytime you order, I don't have a stack of canvas prints sitting in my house or in my storage or anything like that. I do have those made specifically for you. So they do take a couple of weeks to get done, but they are shipped to you absolutely free if you're ordering canvas prints. And those start at $1.99. I think the smallest size that I offer is a 12 by 18. So again, this is a 11 by 17. So a 12 by 18 is a little bit taller by 1 inch and 1 inch wider than this. So this gives you sort of the idea of what a 12 by 18 looks like. I offer those for $1.99, and then it goes up from there, right? So this one that is behind me, that is a 20 by 30, and I believe that's about $400. And you do have the option to have that framed or unframed. Now the one behind me is framed. It is framed in a color that I don't offer in my shop. That is a dark, I think, mahogany color. The colors of frames that I do offer in my shop are black and natural wood, I believe. And I'm going to check just to make sure. I ain't telling you a lie, but I do believe they are black and natural wood. So we're going to check that out really quickly. And again, if you're just joining us, there is a site-wide sale on my website where everything is 40% off, including these canvas prints. And they're always free shipping on these. So no matter when you order them, they're always free shipping. But this is what it'll look like. So let's say, for instance, you want to get the depth card and you want to have that for a certain size. It'll give you some information about the card. It'll give you some information about the different sizes that I offer. And then also some information about how long they do take. So they do take a couple of weeks for them to be made, manufactured, and shipped. All right. So a little bit of patience goes a long way with the canvas prints, but the quality though, the quality is real nice. So I offer a 12 by 18, a 16 by 24, a 20 by 30, and a 24 by 36. And I do have them, unframed. You can get them without the frame, and it looks something like this. I'll show you. That is an unframed canvas print, right? And then a framed with a natural wood. That's what it looks like. We also offer them with the black floater frame. So they're really, really nice. They're really, really worth an investment, but I do understand that it is an investment. So because of that, I do offer the 11 by 17s. And this is sort of the Mike Tyson, and then we have the High Priestess. And so you'll receive them just like this. They'll be wrapped in cellophane with the cardboard backing and a little QR code, just in case you want to keep up with me, right? And these are shipped next day. All right. Same with the journals. The ebook, you can get that. You get same day, like access to it right when you order it and right when you purchase it. So again, I'll show you guys what that looks like in my shop. And again, that's Winter 40 for your 40% off. And I'm really excited about that. I don't do sales often. I usually do them around my birthday. I usually have a birthday sale, and I've done a holiday sale maybe a couple times, right? So you guys are hearing it first. And those of you in my email list, this will be the first time you don't get a chance to hear it first. But I have everything organized in categories. So if you are scrolling the site and go to the shop, this is sort of what it looks like. And of course, we have more than what's shown here. So if you see more and you want to see more of whatever that thing is, whether that's a poster print or a canvas print, make sure you click on see more, and that'll give you the entire catalog, right? All right. And I'll plug this one more time, right? You have to advertise yourself. That's just how it goes, right? All right, so we're back on our Two of Wands. And again, I'm just adding light and shadow. I don't necessarily, again, want this to be perfect right now. I'm not interested in that. But I do want to make sure that I give myself a good foundation so that I can come back and tighten things up a little bit later. So for instance, right now I have a brow this brown color, and I don't think I like that so much. So we're going to go with a slightly different color, even though she's bald. She doesn't have hair, but I can sort of make her hair whatever color I feel works best for her skin tone. I think this brown is just a little bit too light. So we're going to go a little bit darker as soon as the auto save finishes here. So again, next week, Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, we will be live here with Lee and Sam. And again, I hope you guys come by and check that out. Be sure to set your notifications. So if you are subscribed to this channel and you click the notifications, whenever we go live, you guys will be notified. There's already like a thumbnail there, so you can actually set that right now or whenever this stream is over with to be able to do that. So it's finished. So let's get into it. All right. So yeah, her brows. All right, her brows are a little bit too light for me. So we're going to go just a wee bit darker. And again, this is just me laying down the foundation. Now I'll come back in and tighten this up a little bit later. So I do, even though these are stylized, what I would consider to be stylized realism, meaning they're not as realistic as sort of the portrait that I showed you guys a couple weeks ago. You still want to make sure things make sense to the eye, because one thing that you will pick up on very quickly if you're looking at illustration is whether or not it looks right? Even if it's something that you're making up. Now, this face is a face that I made up based on the placement of the face from my reference, right? This is not a real person. This is just a collection of features, right? But we do want to make sure that everything sort of looks right and makes sense to this collection of features: eyes, nose, mouth, ears, and so on and so forth. You want to make sure that it all sort of makes sense so that it tricks the person's mind or whoever's looking at this to believing that this is a real person. This is a real scenario, even if this is something that's, not photographic or anything like that. So that's where we are. And I think here in a little bit, we're going to wrap up, but I am going to add a little bit of shadow to her nose here. And we'll get that looking all right. And again, I'm just using the face of my reference here, the guy who's pointing down to the paper, just sort of as a jumping off point to know where lights and shadows should hit her face, even with her features being slightly different and her being a completely different person. So she is a female, so we're going to give her, we might give her a little lip color. Just to sort of emphasize that, nothing too fancy. And again, we'll come back and correct a lot of this a little bit later. Matter of fact, this is something that I would normally do at the very last minute, but we're going to add it in here now, just because that'll help me visualize where things are going to go. All right. So she might have a little bit of a highlight, and I'm going to use color in her ear, which came from her hands, to highlight the features on her face just for now, and to sort of give her face form. I don't think I like this color, so we're going to go back to skin tone for now. But I am going to add in some of the highlights based on my reference. All right. And if you see me looking down, I didn't make this announcement. I am working on a Huion Canvas 24 4K. It's my second monitor, and whenever I'm reading the chat, I'm looking at my actual computer. But yeah, I love this particular tablet. It was an investment. I started with my very first tablet was a Wacom Bamboo, which I bought, I don't know. I say that, but I'm saying it like I'm talking to myself. But I think it was around 2000. I don't know, 6, 7, 8. That's sort of where I started my digital art career, right? And at that time, I actually was thinking about it. At that time, there wasn't a lot of digital artists, right? This was something that was very, very brand new to the general public. And so I remember when I was doing it, I had a little laptop, and I was in school for graphic design at the time. And I was actually in one of my classes, and we had some free time. And I remember I busted out my my Wacom Bamboo, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's one of them digital painting tablets." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just learning, trying to learn this new skill." And now digital art is everywhere. It went through its growing pains, right? definitely went through growing pains because I think people had to come to respect digital art as a legitimate art form. You guys have been watching me now for about an hour, and nothing's been, I don't push a button to make this lady's face, or I don't like type in anything and it's created. I'm actually physically drawing on my tablet, right? And so a lot of people have had to make the adjustment to understand what digital art is. And there's still some misconceptions around it, especially when it comes to the conversation of AI. I don't know why. I guess because it's digital, maybe it's because it's digital in the name, but people are assuming that digital art and AI art are the same, and they're not, right? So with AI art, you're pretty much typing in a prompt, and this algorithm is created to create an image based on the prompt that you give the machine, right? So if I say, like we went to do the reference earlier where I had the guy leaning on the table, and went into search Google, say, hey, I need a picture of a man leaning on a table, you would do something similar in your image generation, and then it spits out an image, right? But with digital art, I'm literally like literally sitting here drawing, right? So it does take a certain amount of skill. I don't, I have my feelings about AI. I'm sort of on the neutral side of it, right? So yes, absolutely, the artists who have been negatively impacted by it should absolutely be compensated. That goes without question whatsoever, right? Because what happened was, in order to train the algorithm to be able to spit out different styles and different ideas, they had to train it on work that already exists. And the problem is that the people whose art was used to train these models were not asked permission to do so, right? And they were also not compensated for doing so. And sure, you could say, well, that shouldn't be a problem because it's just like an artist, studying, because I mentioned study quite a bit. It's just like an artist studying from another thing. But the problem is that these companies are profiting off of it, right? So if they're profiting off of it, then the people whose artwork was used to create these images should also profit from it. I mean, I can't go and use a song by Beyonce in my commercial without paying Beyonce to use the song, right? It's just not how it works. And so the same can be said for, the artists who have been impacted or who are continually impacted by AI. Now, where this really, really gets scary is that now you can use and emulate someone's voice, right? So I remember my husband sent me a video of Dolores Cannon. And Dolores Cannon is a lady who did a lot of hypnotherapy, and she would go into past lives and things like that. I've been listening to Dolores Cannon for a while. So once you get used to hearing someone, you kind of, for one, you are familiar with the types of things that they talk about, right? So I'm familiar with the types of classes that Dolores Cannon would have. I'm also familiar with her voice because I've listened to her a lot. Same with Abraham Hicks. You listen to the same person a lot. You kind of pick up certain nuances in the person's voice and the types of things that they talk about. He sent me this video, and the video was good. Like, it was, the information was good, all of that, everything was good. But I started to notice these anomalies in her voice. It was real odd, and it was real small little things that I would pick up. I've also heard this from Joe Dispenza, and these are usually faceless videos. You never see the person who's supposed to be talking actually talking, right? They're always faceless videos, but it sounds like the person that they're trying to sound like. But there'll be these little anomalies, right? So I got to thinking, I got to looking, and I was like, I don't think this is who this is supposed to be. I don't think it's Dolores Cannon. So I went to the video's description. Nowhere in the world did they mention that this was an AI generated voice. They were selling it as if this is Dolores Cannon speaking. This is Joe Dispenza speaking. And it'll say something like, inspired by whatever, but it's like the tiniest print is at the bottom of this long paragraph of information within the description. And I think that is an issue. That's a problem, right? Because if you can sit and say, well, Dolores Cannon said this, and you're not being completely honest and open about it, and let's say I'm not diligent enough to have been like, hold on, something don't sound right. A lot of people can be tricked that way. And so that is a problem. But I think with that problem is where you're going to have the most change, right? Because if you're using someone who is a big high profile person, let's say a Beyonce, and you're using her voice and you're using her sort of style of music to create something and say, well, Beyonce said and did this, then her money and her power, her influence is going to be where that sort of change happens, right? It's a whole thing. But there are, I think by concept, I get it. Like I understand, the where AI could be helpful. I understand the concept of where it could be helpful. I just do not agree with stealing from people and not compensating that person, and then you uh, profiting off of it. That ain't all right. All right. All right. So we're at about an hour and 5 minutes. That was my soapbox for the day. If you're just joining, we always have a few people come in at the end. First of all, thank you so much for watching, whether you're watching this with me live or the replay. I really, really appreciate you for being here. If you want to support myself, this stream, and this project, one of the easiest, quickest, fastest, and freest ways to do that is to hit the thumbs up. Also, to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I know this sort of looking at the analytics. We have a few people come in that's not subscribed, so do me the solid and make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I go live. Speaking of live, next Friday. Next Friday, we'll be going live with Lee and Sam right here on this particular channel, and we'll have all kinds of awesome conversations about creativity and digital artwork. And I think that's going to be so much fun because I really, really enjoy them so much. We did a stream a couple weeks ago, so if you have not checked that out, if you go to this channel and go to the live tab, scroll down a couple months worth of videos, you'll be able to watch the replay for that particular video. Also, again, right now, everything in my shop is 40% off. So if you are looking to support this particular project directly, right, aside from liking, sharing, and subscribing, which absolutely helps me a ton to get the word out about this particular project, you can go to my website, blewisarts.com, and all of this will be linked down in the description below, where everything in my shop is on sale right now through December 3rd. You get 40% off. Now, you have to foot the bill on the shipping, right? Because if I'm gonna mark it down, we can go halfway, right? You can pay for your shipping. But except on the canvas prints. Now, canvas prints always ship out for free. And again, everything will ship next day except canvas prints. That is an exception, but they are on sale. Canvas prints usually ship out within about 2 weeks because they do have to be manufactured and they are made to order. So I have everything in the description below. Again, I thank you so, so much for joining me this Sunday afternoon, because you could be doing anything, but you decide to sit here with me. And I do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So until next time, I will see you next Friday, right? We'll see you next Friday. And again, next Sunday for another live stream. And again, thank you so, so much. And until next time, peace.